Gates belt drive and pinion gearboxes have been around for a while now, and now they're becoming more popular on full suspension mountain bikes. Let's go through what they are and why you should get one on your next mountain bike. So what's a pinion gearbox? It's what happens when a few former Porsche transmission engineers get together and decide that bicycles need a better transmission. And that's exactly what it is. It is a transmission. It's a bunch of steel-cut gears in a sealed oil bath in the middle of the bike. And it has key benefits over traditional drivetrain. One of those is that all of the gears are sealed away so that they don't suffer from wear from the elements, and they last much longer without needing service. In fact, pinion gearboxes go 6,000 miles without needing anything except an oil change. Sound like a car transmission? Well, there you go. Another advantage of sealing the gears inside a transmission housing is that you don't have an exposed derailleur dangling off the rear wheel that's susceptible to smashing on a rock and ending your whole day. You also might save a little money there too. And if your gearbox is equipped with Smart.Shift electronic shifting, that means you can shift at times when you can't shift a typical derailleur drivetrain. Like, let's say at the top of the hill, you can shift into the right gear so that when you start descending, you're ready to go. Or at quick transition moments when you have to drop a bunch of gears to start pedaling uphill, you can do it without even turning the pedals over. In addition to all those other times, when you're climbing on the pedals, when you're descending on or off the pedals, it just gives you options that make the riding experience easier. Shifting a pinion gearbox can feel smoother than shifting a derailleur and chain because you don't have that sensation of the chain moving from cog to cog, and it can happen much faster. There's another notable performance benefit that comes from the weight placement of the gearbox. Removing the mass of the cassette and derailleur from the rear wheel and centering the weight low where the bottom bracket typically is makes for a bike with a really low center of gravity and much lower unsprung weight for the rear suspension. And that allows the bike to perform even better on really rough technical trails. So what is Gates Carbon Drive? Gates is putting belts on vehicles for well over 100 years. And they've put belts on everything from Harley-Davidson motorcycles to 1,000 horsepower blowers on drag racing machines. And Gates has been making belts for bicycles for over 20 years. And while you might look at this and think, what's that stretchy rubber chain? There's a lot more to it than that. The belt is made up of high-strength carbon cords inside a durable polymer. So that means a belt that doesn't stretch and doesn't wear like a chain would. In fact, it's stronger in most situations and lasts 3 times as long, doesn't require day-to-day lubrication, and doesn't rust. Belts are always in line, so they don't fall off like a typical chain would. In addition, they run a lot smoother than a typical chain would too, and don't suffer from chain slap. So you end up with a much smoother ride. And at the end of the day, the less maintenance means that you spend more time riding your bike and less time fiddling with it. So why don't we see pinion and belt drive on more mountain bikes? Well, one reason is it's expensive. This system can really bring up the price of a bike. But here at Priority, we have great support from Pinion and Gates, and we have a direct-to-consumer approach that allows us to offer best-in-class value even with these high-priced technologies. There are also design, engineering, and manufacturing challenges when it comes to making belt drive and gearbox bikes, specifically in making a perfectly aligned frame. But Priority as a brand has been making belt drive bikes for over 10 years, and we have the experience and expertise to do it better than anybody out there. Belt drive and gearbox bikes are the future of mountain biking, and they're here today. If you have any questions, reach out. Our customer service team is happy to help.